have some books I want to talk about, and I'm trying to talk quietly because it's like, I don't even know what time it is. It's like 11 o'clock at night, and I just all of a sudden was like, I'm gonna film a video. Sounds great. Yeah, I don't know. So I have some books I want to talk about, mainly because I finished reading a lot of books this August, and I have some thoughts. The first book I read in August was Death in Provence, and it was pretty good. It was alright. Like, it was a good summer, like, mystery, like, chill book. I don't know. There was a lot of substance to it. It was just like, there's this woman and she's in her 50s and she doesn't know what else to do with her life, and so she goes to France and buys a chateau, and it was kind of cheesy, but I thought it had a good idea going for it. It was still really cheesy, and yeah, that's all I have to say. I give it like a 2.5 out of 5. I don't know if I should do like the point scale with it, like the 2 point something, but that seems right. Like it wasn't as low as a 2, but it wasn't as high as a 3, so like 2.5 seems about right. I'm not gonna get like too intense with it. I'm not gonna be like 2.67. No. I'm just gonna, do the half scale. So yeah, that was that one. Second book I read was How We Disappeared by Jing Lee. This book was amazing. So good. So sad. Like, I won't give any spoilers, but it will rip you to shreds. Like, after I read this, I had to take a couple days and not read anything. I was like, okay, that was awful. I need a minute to just chill. And I did, and it also gave me time to think. Like, it's one of those books that it's historical in itself, but it also was so well written that it like makes you think and makes you so immersed with the characters that when you're not reading it, you like are thinking like the character and looking at your own life and being like, wow, like I'm so grateful for how I live and what I'm able to do. That how is this possible? Like, how did the things that happen in this book happen to people? Like, I don't know, maybe that's just the really, really white privileged girl in me talking, but that's why I read, like, to get a sense of what other people's lives are like. And yeah, it was a really good book though, just really sad, and it kind of fucked me up, to be honest. Like, these books that I'm gonna mention kind of fucked me up. But in a good way, like in an I'm learning kind of situation. So yeah, that was that book. Second book I read was an audiobook, so I listened to it. It was Sharp Objects by, don't remember the author's name, but I will link it in my description. And that was also a very good book. Listening to it though is definitely a different experience than reading it. I thought reading it probably would have immersed me a little more in the story, and I feel like I was immersed at certain points, but at other points I wasn't. Like, there was definitely parts I missed when listening to it because I would get distracted and be baking or watching something, or not watching something, but like doing something else, and so I wasn't totally paying attention. But then I went back and watched the show on HBO, and I realized some of the parts I missed, and I was like, wow, okay. I kind of get why this was happening now. Like, I don't want to do any spoilers. But I kind of get why this was happening and why this person did this now. And so definitely with listening, you have, like, if you're gonna listen to it and you really care about the story, you kind of gotta like make the effort to pay attention. But if it's a story you don't really care about, then it doesn't matter. but like with Sharp Objects, I kind of wish I would have listened a little more and paid attention a little more. But all in all, it was a really good book, and the show was really good too. I love Amy Adams, so watching her portray the main character, I forgot her name, Camille. Watching her portray Camille was really cool. I think she did a really good job. But yeah, it was definitely a really good book, and also another book that kind of fucked me up. It just was so, like, the mother and the relationship with the daughter, and there's like a lot of death in their relationship, and it kind of, I don't know, like, you learn in the end some stuff that makes you see I don't want spoilers, but it makes you see things differently, and I think that kind of made me think, like, not everyone is how they seem, and, like, you know, everyone has a backstory, and it's just, it was, yeah. I'm not gonna say anything else because I'm bad about giving spoilers, so that was that one. I'd probably give that a, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. It was pretty good. It was a good book I've listened to. The next book, it's right here, was, it's upside down, A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I've had to like practice pronouncing this the past few days, her last name, but oh my god, I just finished this morning actually, and I was like downstairs with my parents, and we were having breakfast and like hanging out and talking, and like I was just kind of reading while they were talking, and I was like tearing up, and I had to suppress my tears because I was like, they're gonna think I am such a little emotional child as I'm just reading, and I'm just tearing up and crying, and yeah, like, I mean, I was seeing all this stuff from other booktubers about this book and how sad it is, and like, I didn't necessarily read it just because of the sadness aspect. I read it because from Noelle Gallagher, who's a big booktuber that I really like, she did a reading vlog with it, and the story just really intrigued me, and like, I haven't read a book in a long time that like I was really into and that really made me like feel. And she talks about in her video how you get really connected to the characters, and I was like, I want a book like that. Like, I need something that's that interesting to read, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this book, and I did, and I read it, and I like, yeah, it was so good. Like, it took me a little longer than I thought it would take me, just because I didn't want the book to end because I was falling in love with the characters, and B, I knew something really bad was going to happen in the last few pages, and I was like, I don't want to get to that point. I'm already sad enough learning everything that's going on in this story, so I'm just gonna put it off. And I did for a while. I was watching Netflix and Sabrina instead of reading this, but today I was like, okay, the end of August is in 2 days, no, it's in 3 days, I need to get this book done, and I did. But yeah, I was sad. And reading this too, just like throughout the story, Hanya Yanagihara does such a good job of engrossing you in the characters and making you feel like you understand them, that when stuff happens to them, it happens to you too. And I was like so engrossed in Jude's story especially, and just his character, and wanting to know him, and like almost reach into the book and be like, I'm here for you, like, even though that would not have helped. He, you know, like, he's not a real person, and B, even if he was, I wouldn't have known him, I couldn't have helped him. But it was just such a good story, and she did such a good job that in the end I was just like a wreck. And I honestly, I'm not gonna tell you what happens, but I did not like the ending. I did not think the ending was concurrent with what happened throughout the story. Like, yes, it was concurrent, but it also wasn't, in a way, to me. I don't know, maybe I was reading it wrong, and maybe I was just way too hopeful, but I did not like it. And part of me was just like, these characters have been through so much. Why can't they just have a happy ending? Like, I get her point was kind of to amp up the sadness and make these situations that people are in prevalent, but at the same time, I was just like, God, I feel like I've been dragged through the mud. Like, can I just have some happiness? And I did not receive it, and I was upset, but I'm working on getting over it, and I probably will never read this book again, but it was well written, well done. I applaud you, Hanya Yana Guevara, but I also kind of hate you right now. So, yeah, that was that. All right, on to the next book. Oh, okay, so the next book was Take a Hint, Dani Brown. Forgot the author's name, but I will link it below. I started that book. I started the audiobook. Wasn't loving it, which surprised me because so many booktubers have been like, I love this series of books. Like, they loved Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which I'm currently reading, and I like it better than Take a Hint, Dani Brown, which they're sisters. They're supposed to be sisters in this fictional world. But I don't know, maybe it was because I hadn't read the first one. I hadn't read Get a Life, Chloe Brown, that I like didn't understand the author's writing and the way she tells the story. But I wasn't into it. I listened to like the first 4 chapters and I was just like, I don't know if I like these characters. Like, I'm not invested. And maybe it was because I read the audiobook. I don't know. So I got that one through Libby and I returned it and at the library, and then I started Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and I like that one a lot better. I think I relate to Chloe a little more, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, so I'm currently listening to that. It's very good so far. I'm only on like the 5th chapter, so I haven't gotten very far. So maybe after I listen to Get a Life, Chloe Brown, I'll go back to Take a Hint, Dani Brown, and maybe I'll like it better. So we'll see. And when she's mentioned in the book, her sister Dani, so like I get that part, but I didn't like them that much yet. I don't know. I feel like I'm the only one who felt that way. So maybe I just need to go back and re-listen. So yeah. Okay. Next book. Midnight Sun by Stephanie Myers, because who else? So I made the stupid mistake of buying this book as an ebook, also not realizing how she misrepresents the Quileute tribe. So I donated to that tribe through Noel Gallagher's link, which you should do too. Also, I also thought that this was going to be like a sequel to Breaking Dawn, or at least a prequel to Twilight, not the same damn book, just through Edward's perspective. Like, why? Why, Stephanie Myers? Why? Like, are you that drained from your creativity that you couldn't come up with another story? Like, I'm sorry, maybe I'm being mean and making assumptions about her, but I don't know. I just think she could have done a lot better, and I was disappointed. Luckily, well, not luckily, I bought the ebook, which I'm not proud of myself for doing, but at least it was cheaper than this hunk of junk. I got this from my aunt who started it, and she didn't like it either, so she said I could read it and have this, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll like this, because I'd only read like the first chapter in the ebook, and I got to what chapter was I on? I think I was on chapter 3. I was on page 62. I got to page 62 in the actual book, and I was like, I'm bored. I don't care. I just want to read some Stephen King. Like, I want to get ready for fall, and I don't give a shit about Twilight anymore. I don't know. I think I'm just over it. Like, I'm over that phase of my life. And I don't mean to sound like pretentious. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound like pretentious or anything by saying that. I just think that I was super into it at one point and I just got burnt out with it. And now, like, I'm older and I'm just disappointed that this wasn't a sequel or a prequel. it's just the same damn book, and yeah, I'm a little pissed that I paid money for it. So yeah, I'm not gonna read any more of this, at least in the near future. So yeah, that's all I have to say.